Day 22, Beaners. So, I was doing some brainstorming on the compressor mounts. And what I'm thinking, I measured up. These measure 8 inches from the bottom to the top of the cooling fan. So, I was gonna make like a drop bracket, like to come out right here and then go up and mount the compressor here. But we can rotate these mounts, right? So I can put the mounts on the side. So in doing that, all I gotta really do is mount like, I still want it bolted to the frame. So I think what I'll do is cut some angle, just make like some little legs to come down and then bolt to the bottom of the frame and just mount it to the angle line there. And I think that'll work. So let me flip the legs on that, and then we'll get a measurement of where they would sit if I mounted them here, which I think they'll be fine. The head will clear the frame and it'll clear the bed once I get it on here. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and fabricate them, because I think these are like 5.5 inches from edge to edge. So I'll cut a piece of angle at 6 inches, just so we have a little bit of overhang. And then I'll make another piece that'll go under the frame and bolt on. I just gotta be careful not to get in the way of the hole for the bolt for the bed, because we got a bolt that goes here and one that goes over here. So I think we're in the clear. I'm just gonna make them. I'll probably just mount it maybe here and here, and I'll make 4 pieces. That way we can go ahead and mount both sides, and then we'll get these plumbed up and go from there. Let's get it. That was kind of a pain in the ass because tiny hardware sucks, but we got it flipped. See, so now when we mount it to the side of the frame, right there, let's do the other one. All right, now we got the one for the passenger side done. I found my nifty little socket. So that made it way easier than having to do it manually with this fucking thing. So let me, I'll throw some angle iron up here. I'll cut 4 pieces to 6 inches, and then I'll cut 4 pieces to, I think it's like 2 inches or just under 2 inches for the piece is gonna bolt to the bottom of the frame. So let me get these out of the way. We'll throw it up there, measure it, mark it out, cut them out, and then go from there. Alright guys, got these all cleaned up. These are the 6-inch sections, and then I cut some that are 3 inches, and these are 2.5. I always clean up the corners, because man, I've had it before where I just cut them straight and I just leave them, and you end up scratching your elbow or your arm or something on them, and it fucking hurts. So I'm gonna start putting some of these together. I think I'm just gonna do it like this. That way it just bolts up under the frame, and then I'll set it flush with the frame here, and then we can just set the compressor on it. And then we'll figure out the bolt holes once we get there. But yeah, I think I'll take these real quick and we'll mark them and drill them and then mount them on the frame. All right, you guys, here's what I came up with. So it's bolted up here, and then I mounted the compressor there. Leader hose is on. It's not tight yet, but the only issue I might have is the wheel getting close to this. But if it does, I'll put a 90 here, angle this down, and then just bring that leader hose up this way, like. But we'll see. I'll try to tighten this as close to the frame. If not, maybe I'll put a P-clamp right here just to hold the leader hose to the frame, which actually sounds like a better idea now. I still gotta drill the hole for the other side, but I just want to show you guys that. And then the filters, I really don't want them down here. So I think they sell like a remote filter location thing, relocation. And I think I'm gonna run a hose, put it up here, or maybe in here somewhere. But yeah, that's that. Ow. And then I'll run some fittings. I'll start putting fittings in this too. And all good. All right, y'all. Here's what we got. We got them both mounted. Everything's tight. I bolted this down with a P-clamp, and it's solid. It's nice. I'm going to go ahead and put the fittings in here, and I'm still trying to decide which tow hitch to use. That one is pretty huge, and I would have to modify all this shit. But the hidden hitch, I think it goes up to like right here. Something about just cutting it and then bolting it on to the frame. See how it fits. Another thought I had was just to weld a brace across and then just put the hitch, right here somewhere. But I don't know. I'm in quite of a kerfuffle about it. Anyway, we got that done. Let me get the fittings for all this, and then what I want to do is start running airline. See if we can cycle suspension. If I can get it on the ground and get it to hold pressure and all that and start cycling suspension, I think it would be pretty neat. But yeah, see how far we get. Well, guys, I'm not gonna be able to mount the management. I need to get some fittings. I want to run 1/2-inch lines off of these. I got the threaded manifold. I'm gonna run a 3H, but these fittings are too fat to run on beside each other, so I'm gonna have to get like a short nipple or bring out the fitting and then run the line from there. It's probably not even necessary, but I want to run 1/2-inch lines. I feel like it'd be a little bit more controllable. But anyway, I need to order some fittings for those, or I might go to Ace and see what they have there. But for now, let's get this buttoned up. I got that winder's tray put in. I got the oil pickup put in, the oil pump and all that. And then this one I think '06 and up, they have a pressure relief valve right here. If you pull that out, like this one, I'm using the high volume, high pressure pump on this. And if you leave that pressure relief valve in the oil pan, it's not gonna do any good. You're still gonna have normal or lower than normal oil pressure. So you can take it out, and I put a M14 by 1.5 plug in here. You just screw the pressure relief valve out and then put the plug in, and that's pretty much it. I got a new gasket on it. Let's put the pan on, and then we'll flip the motor over. I got the oil valley pan. I just need to wipe it down and throw that one on too. But let's get the oil pan, and then we'll start putting the timing cover and everything else on. Y'all want a pro tip? The LS engine has an oil barbell right here. I always replace these. These are made out of plastic. And I always replace them with the billet piece that Improved Racing makes. If I can get it out of there. I guess it's safe to say this one wasn't leaking because it's in there tight. All right. So this little sucker. Oh, great. That's totally awesome. Let me loosen these up and so that engine can drop, and then we'll be able to take that out. All right, we got it to drop. Now, this oil barbell, the stock one is made of plastic and it usually gets gunked up or it blows the O-ring and you lose oil pressure. So, Improved Racing makes a really nice one. If I can find it in my pile of shit here. Ha. This one. I've tried the Amazon ones and they don't fit. And I think the Amazon one's like $11 and this one's like 20. So just spend the extra $10 and get this one. And then just pop it back in there, put your cover on, and cheap insurance, peace of mind. Let's get it. Alright guys, got this buttoned up. I'm gonna have to order parts to finish all that up anyway. So, since we're getting close with this, I figured I might as well start thinning out the harness. So, if you guys need a pinout for pretty much anything, there's a website called Charm.li. It's basically an all data database with wiring harnesses. All the factory service manuals are on there. I'll drop a link in the bottom, but it's a super dope resource. And I see a lot of guys like on Facebook and forums and shit looking for pinouts for this one and the one that goes on the passenger side of the firewall, and that's all there. So let's start thinning out the harness. I'm basically not even going to use any of these. It's just AC, oil pressure, water temperature, RPM, all the basic stuff like that. But I'm not going to use the ones coming out of the old computer. I'm just going to use the ones going into the cab to the gauge cluster, so I can splice into that from the new harness. I got a BP automotive harness for the engine and the transmission itself. Since I'm using a 6L90 and a Gen 4 6.0, none of this stuff is going to work for that. If I had a Gen 3, I could just repin the original ECM connectors to an 0411 and add the coil harnesses for the coil by cylinder, you know, individual coils. All you gotta do is repin these connectors for the 0411 and then add the coil harness, and you pretty much start it up and run it with the 4L80. But since I'm using a 6.0 and a 6L90 from a 2008, it's all Gen 4 stuff. I'm not even gonna get to keep my cruise control. I had to get a Dakota Digital cruise control module, since it's pretty much getting converted to drive-by-wire anyway. So let's tear this harness down and start thinning out what we need to keep and taking out what we don't need at all. So let's get it. Alright guys, I got some of this stripped. I got the ABS taken out. I got some of the trans stuff taken out. Unfortunately, I can't record the rest of this because I need to use my phone to look at the diagrams, because I'm out of printer ink and didn't get to print the diagrams. So by the time you guys come back, I should have most of this taken out, and I'll just have whatever essentials are left for the truck. So we'll be back. All right, here's what we got. We got a couple of wires left over here. We're still using the stock fuse block. Took out the ABS wiring, pretty much everything for the engine management on the 454. Just left the AC connections, a bunch of grounds, some power wires. This one ain't it. And then the one that feeds the power to the other side, on the passenger side, that goes inside the cab for blower and all that. Tomorrow we'll kind of zip tie it, loom it together. And once we get the motor or the engine set, we'll marry this one with the BP automotive harness. I think we made some good progress. We got this done. We got the engine pretty much buttoned up. I just need to clean up the rockers and throw those in, get the intake on. I got some other swap headers on, I got some headers. They come with a temporary coating, so I'm gonna have to strip that and then probably paint them. We got the air compressors mounted. I think I'm gonna order the battery mount tonight. That way we can put both batteries here. And I'm thinking I'll mount the management somewhere beside that. And then we can start running airlines. I need to get some fittings for these. Once we get, I still need to clean up the engine and paint it so it doesn't look all shitty amongst all this freshly cleaned suspension. Well, yeah, that's all I got for today, guys. Thank you for hanging out. Peace out, beaters.